What if I told you that one ancient poem contains the secret to understanding English expressions you hear every single day, but most English learners never realize it? Right now, millions of people are struggling to grasp phrases like safe and sound, mighty and powerful, or forever and ever without knowing these patterns come from texts that are over 3,000 years old. In the next few minutes, you're about to discover how Psalm 48 from the Bible unlocks not just beautiful English vocabulary, but also reveals why English speakers naturally use certain rhythms and repetitions that will make your own English sound incredibly more fluent and native-like. Think about this. Every time you say something is high and mighty or describe a place as safe and secure, you're actually echoing the same poetic patterns we're about to explore together. This isn't just about learning English, this is about understanding the DNA of how English expressions were born. The psalm we're diving into today doesn't just teach us words, it teaches us how to feel the music inside English sentences. And here's something that might surprise you. The techniques used in this ancient text are the exact same ones that make modern English songs, speeches, and even casual conversations so memorable and powerful. Have you ever wondered why some English phrases just stick in your mind while others seem to slip away? The answer lies in something called parallelism, a technique that this psalm uses masterfully. When the text says, "How great is the Lord, how deserving of praise," notice how the structure repeats. How great, how deserving. This isn't just poetry. This is how English naturally builds emphasis and creates rhythm. Native speakers do this instinctively when they say things like bigger and better or tried and true. Your brain is actually wired to remember these patterns, which is why learning English through these ancient texts can be so incredibly effective. Let's break down something fascinating about English pronunciation and rhythm. When the psalm describes Mount Zion as high and magnificent, we see two powerful vocabulary words working together. But here's the key. Native speakers don't just put any two adjectives together randomly. There's a natural flow, a musicality that makes some combinations sound right and others sound awkward. The word magnificent comes from Latin, meaning great in deeds, while high is pure Anglo-Saxon English. This combination of Latin-based and Germanic-based words is absolutely typical in English. And understanding this pattern will help you choose words that sound natural together. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for English learners. The phrase, "the whole earth rejoices to see," it contains a grammar structure that appears constantly in everyday English, but most textbooks never explain it properly. This is called a transfer of qualities. We're saying the earth can rejoice and see, giving human characteristics to non-human things. You hear this everywhere in modern English. The sun smiles, the wind whispers, time flies. Once you recognize this pattern, you'll start noticing it in movies, songs, and conversations, and more importantly, you'll begin using it naturally yourself. Notice something powerful about how this psalm uses repetition for emphasis. The city of our God, the city of the Lord of heaven's armies. It is the city of our God. This isn't just saying the same thing 3 times. Each repetition adds new information while reinforcing the main idea. This technique appears constantly in effective English communication. Think about how politicians speak. We will build a better future, a brighter future, a future we can all believe in. Or how advertisers write, the best coffee, the freshest coffee, the coffee you deserve. Learning to use this pattern will make your English sound more confident and persuasive. Here's something that will revolutionize how you think about English tenses. When the psalm says we had heard of the city's glory, but now we have seen it ourselves, we encounter the perfect example of past perfect versus present perfect tenses in natural context. This isn't grammar learned from a textbook, this is grammar that tells a story. grammar that expresses real human experience. The had heard represents something from an even more distant past, while have seen connects that past experience to the present moment. Understanding tenses this way, through meaningful stories rather than abstract rules, makes them stick in your memory forever. Let's explore one of the most beautiful examples of English word families in this text. The word defend appears as defender, and throughout English you'll find this pattern everywhere. Teacher, writer, leader. But here's what's fascinating. Some defender words end er, while others end in or, like creator or professor. The psalm helps us see that words coming from Anglo-Saxon roots typically use a, while words from Latin typically use or. This isn't just trivia, this knowledge helps you spell correctly and understand new vocabulary faster. The phrase gripped with terror and writhed in pain like a woman in labor gives us an incredible window into how English uses vivid, physical language to describe emotions. Notice how the text doesn't just say they were afraid. Instead, it uses gripped, a word that makes you feel the physical sensation of fear. This is quintessentially English, turning abstract emotions into concrete, physical experiences. When you say someone is frozen with fear, burning with anger, or bursting with joy, you're using this same technique that makes English so expressive and memorable. Something magical happens with the comparison, like the mighty ships of Tarshish shattered by a powerful east wind. This simile doesn't just create a picture, it creates a feeling. The words shattered and powerful have harsh, strong sounds that match the violent imagery. This is called sound symbolism, and English is full of it. Words with sharp sounds like crack, smash, and snap often describe sudden, violent actions, while words with soft sounds like flow, gentle, and smooth describe calm, peaceful actions. Recognizing these patterns will help you choose words that not only mean what you want to say, but also sound right to native speakers. Here's a pronunciation secret that most English courses never teach. The rhythm of English sentences follows patterns just like music. O God, we meditate on your unfailing love as we worship in your temple has a natural beat, a rhythm that native speakers feel instinctively. The stressed words God, meditate, unfailing, love, worship, temple create the backbone of meaning, while the unstressed words flow between them like musical notes. Learning to feel this rhythm, not just memorize individual words, is what transforms good English into great English. The expression to the ends of the earth represents something incredibly important in English, idiomatic language that appears everywhere, but makes no literal sense. If you translate this phrase word by word into your native language, it probably sounds strange. But in English, this means everywhere, or to every possible place. These idioms aren't exceptions, they're the heart of how English really works. Break a leg means good luck. It's raining cats and dogs means it's raining heavily. The more you encounter these phrases in meaningful contexts like this psalm, the more natural they become. Notice the beautiful parallelism in Let the people on Mount Zion rejoice. Let all the towns of Judah be glad. This let double quotes pattern appears constantly in English, from formal speeches to casual conversation. Let me think. Let me see. Let's go. Let's try. This isn't just grammar, it's a way of organizing thoughts that sounds naturally English. When you use these patterns, you're not just speaking correctly, you're speaking with the natural flow that makes native speakers nod along and understand you effortlessly. The final verse contains one of the most profound truths about language learning. He is our God forever and ever, and He will guide us until we die. The phrase forever and ever uses repetition to create emphasis, but notice how it doesn't sound redundant. This is because English loves these doubled expressions, again and again, over and over, more and more. They create rhythm and emphasis that single words cannot achieve. When you master these patterns, your English doesn't just become more accurate, it becomes more beautiful, more memorable, and more emotionally powerful. What you've just experienced isn't just English learning, it's English discovery. Every phrase we've explored, every pattern we've uncovered, every rhythm we've felt together represents techniques that will transform how you understand and use English in every area of your life. These aren't just ancient words. They're living patterns that flow through modern English like rivers through a landscape, shaping everything they touch. The next time you watch a movie, read an article, or have a conversation, you'll recognize these patterns everywhere, and more importantly, you'll begin using them naturally. This is how English truly becomes a part of you, not through memorization, but through understanding the beautiful ancient wisdom that still breathes life into every sentence we speak.